Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in this event. We are going to wait 3 to 4 more minutes to then get started with the presentation.
Cuando el hambre no nos detiene, hacemos cosas y...
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this special webinar that we have today for you. So, my name is Brian Rosario. I'm a Sophos pre-sales engineer. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the top 5 reasons to use MDR services. So without any further ado, let's get started. Um, Before diving exactly into MDR services, let's take a quick overview about what is it for. So the evolution of cyber threats have been increasing during the last few years, reaching its peak in this recent era. So today, today's attackers, they use many ways to get inside of your companies, inside of your environments, to compromise your security, take over your assets, and then most likely than not claim a ransomware. So what is the the landscape that we face today? Well, exploited vulnerabilities is the main reason or the main method that the attackers likes to use to gain access. So within those attacks, usually they target to compromise your backup. So Sophos conducts an interview or an analysis that it's called the ransomware state or the state of the ransomware, in which from 3,000 to 5,000 IT pros from all over the world, they get surveyed or interviewed about what is going on in their daily lives as a security and IT pro in the industry. So 75% said that the attack started with an exploited vulnerability, and 67% of the attacks started also with compromised credentials. So they handle both things. They take leverage of both things to get into your systems. And the first thing that they try to do before encrypting any data, before taking any actions, as soon as they have complete control and access to your infrastructure, the first thing that they try to do is compromise the backup. So 75% of those attacks, when started with an exploited vulnerability, 75% of those attacks compromise the backup. And then when the attack started with compromised credentials, it was 67. So we are seeing here a trend that the, the exploited vulnerability yields more damage to your organizations than compromised credentials. Same happens with data encryption. When an attack starts with an exploited vulnerability, 67% is the rate of data encryption. And when the attack starts with compromised credentials, it's 43% that gets the data encrypted. And same happens with the propensity to pay the ransom. When the attack is a exploit, usually 71% of those peoples pay the ransom. And when the attack is via compromised credentials, is a 45% that it's willing to pay out. So as we see here, this is 2024 in blue against 2023 in orange. The vulnerability attacks, they have increased they have decreased for this year from a 36 to a 32. The compromised credentials, they hover around the same, but we see that we are having an increase on malicious emails. And that is the primary way that people get inside to exploit those vulnerabilities inside of your systems. So even though the percentage shows lower, the outcomes are higher for the exploited vulnerabilities within your systems. So usually the adversaries use legitimate tools to then start the attack. So the initial access remote services exploits. The initial access is whenever they go inside of your organization. So either you open a malicious file or you access the link that you were not supposed to. So that's the initial access. Then it comes the execution when you open that malicious file that came via email. It's gonna try and escalate and establish persistence inside of the system. Uh, Using a PowerShell or a Cobalt Strike or any disk even to establish persistence, and then using mimikatz or progdump to escalate the privileges of the user that they are in with. Then try to evade defense efforts, so stay in low radar in order to have access to any, in order to avoid any detections from any defensive tools. And then they start harvesting credentials. So trying to search the user who has the most powerful credentials to then start the discovery. So in this other stage, they will start doing the discovery of the they will start the discovery of the assets inside of your network. So they will see what are your servers, what are your services, and then they will start with the lateral movement. They will start with lateral movement to then establish persistence in another um, devices across your network. They could use an RDP for Windows Remote Desktop Protocol to get access to different devices across the network, or they could use a Cobalt Strike tools for that. Then they start collecting the information. They start making a repository and identifying where the information is. Then they take command and control, so they lock you out, or they have full access to anything inside, and then the exfiltration starts. So they will use WinRAR or Arclon to take this information to a private repository, and once they have everything they need, you have the impact in the execution, the data encrypted or the network breach. But by the time that you are seeing these two um, operations, or lastly the last one, it's already too late, because within these aspects, so let's say from initial access to defense evasion, this could be done in a matter of minutes. And then the discovery, lateral movement, recollection, command and control, exfiltration, this could take weeks or even months of them inside of your network, inside of your infrastructure without you knowing about it. So when you see the impact happening, it's because it's already too late for the attacker to be remediated. Now, what is the data encryption rate by industry? So whenever a government it's hit by a ransomware, 98% of these attacks resulted in data being encrypted. If we are looking at financial services, we have 49%. Um, in the distribution and transport, it's basically an extortion, not a ransomware, because data was not encrypted, but they had access to the data, but they were held to the ransom anyways, because the data was already outside. It was not encrypted, but it was exfiltrated, and they had persistence and access to the networking in order to make them subject to the ransom. Now, as of today, you think that the greatest threat is being encrypted, but it is not. Because in order for them to return the data to you once it has been encrypted, is not that they are going to give you the keys to the crypt, because uh, most of the cases, the encryptions that they use is at 2048 bit keys, or at least from 1024 bits encryption keys. So most of the cases, what they do is that once you have paid the ransom for your data, they give you access to a repository. But why stop on claiming a ransom from you when they can also resell this information outside. So 32%, and this number is increasing, in ransomware attacks where the data was encrypted, also the data was stolen. So it was leaked outside after the ransom attack happened. So this is the percentage of ransomware attacks since 2020 to the date, seeing that the peak years of ransomware attacks were 2022 and 2023. And as of now, the year 2024, this trend has been going down to 59%. Still a high number because that means more than half of organizations are still being hit by ransomware to the date. So data recovery, it's the other aspect in which we can see the impact of an attack, of a ransomware attack. At the end of the day, more than half of the people, not that they were willing, but they actually paid the ransom to get their data back. So this is an alarming number because more than half of the people was willing to pay the ransom to get their data back. So what is the role of an MDR solution given this specific situation, given what's going on? Well, managed detection and response services, or MDR services, are a fully managed 24 by 7 service that is around the clock by security experts that they are specialized in detecting, neutralizing, responding, doing investigations, doing threat hunts that solutions alone cannot do. I would like to refer to this as an aircraft or an airplane. You can purchase an airplane, but the airplane itself is not gonna fly. You either need to learn to fly or you need to hire a pilot who can fly the airplane to you. So MDR, it's the pilot to the airplane that you are getting as soon as you're having MDR services or any cybersecurity tools. So protection technologies, they are still very essentials because at the end of the day, the human part, the expertise that comes with an MDR needs to rely on essential technology in order to prove or to provide their security protection that they are offering to you. So when you have a very good tool that is able to block anything that is thrown at you, then the detection, the investigation, and the response, it's even faster because there are less things that you need to respond to. There are less things that you need to do, but at the end of the day, you have some things to do. So, who uses MDR services? Um, these are a few companies. For example, CD Baby in the US is a distribution service for artists. Also, we have Hammond Care in Australia. They use Sophos to enhance their in-house capabilities. So basically, this is a hybrid. And also, we have Bardiani Valvol in Italy that they only use MDR as an alerting system. So basically, we have three examples here. Example number one is the one who needs Sophos to take care of everything. So they do alerting, they do incident response and everything. In the second case, we have someone who is needing an enhancement to its own abilities. And then in the third case, it's the people who only needs an extra set of eyes to alert when anything is happening. So, what are the benefits that we can get by using an MDR service? The main benefit or the first benefit that we can get is that we elevate your cyber defenses. So we are having a high volume and a high variety of attacks, so we can expand uh, the experience that you get while being protected in this compromised state. Also, we have daily investigation and response. It's 24 by 7. It's at any time. And also it's shared learnings. So here's something interesting. The tools as we are using, they are AI based. But that doesn't mean that the knowledge they have to gather it from your own deployment. This is a collective intelligence. This is a shared learning. So if an eventuality happens in company A, the intelligence for that event will be available for company B. So if the same attack happens to company B, then our artificial intelligence tools, they will be able to remediate or to mitigate this attack without having to gather the knowledge from company B all over again. So all of the information sharing about threats, what is the MO, what is the signature, what is the behavior, it's a collective intelligence. And also shared customer experience. If you go over to Gartner Peers site to see what are the reviews that people is telling, you will get a lot of insight there. Also, we have Sophos community, which is in the support site, in which you can get both community assistance and also articles on different products, or you can raise your support cases. But in the forums section, you have tons and hundreds of thousands of people that they are sharing their knowledge right there, uh, their experiences, their questions, so you can get great information in our shared customer experience in the Sophos forum. Also, as we mentioned earlier, um, elevate your cyber defenses by using high quality tools. That means that the little things that the tool is not able to do because they are too complex or they may be require any information about the context or the correlation of things, then those are the things that our MDR team uh, focuses on. So the detection time is around 1 minute. The investigation time is around 25 minutes and the response time is about 12 minutes. So that gives you an average of 38 minutes to respond, to detect, to respond and neutralize a threat in real time. Also, you can get tangible returns. So we got reduction of time to response, reduction of time to identify, and improve accuracy in the detections. That is by Chittle Dairy. Also, the University of South Queensland, they say that the pen tester were shocked in a way that they couldn't find a way in. So Sophos was so tight, so protective, yet so flexible that even the pen testers that they hire weren't able to find a way in while they were doing their testing. And so on. So we have different testimonies of different companies uh, from different sectors or industry uh, sectors that they are amazed at what Sophos is able to do for them. So, second benefit, free up IT capacity. So, one of the things that we face the most is that we can have all the shiny tools in the world to give us the detection, but do we have the resource personnel and the time to handle all of the alerts, to make all of the investigations that we get? So the Mirage group here said that they saved 15 hours per week and have seen more than twice, almost three times, the productivity of their IT team because they are leaving the things to the MDR team to take care of their security. The other or the third benefit in this case is the 24 by 7 peace of mind. Knowing that you have some capable person that it's all of the time checking up for you, being alert to your defenses, it gives you peace of mind. If you need to go to a day off, if you have some meetings outside of the office, if you have a vacation period on the weekends, a holiday, you will be totally confident that you have a pretty robust security solution. The fourth benefit that we have is that you are adding expertise instead of headcount. So this is important because you're not adding people to your company. You're adding a service instead of those people's. Um, and also you are not in charge of developing or finding qualifiable talent to have this position filled within your company. Also, it comes the benefits of the law that you need to offer for that people and all of the expenses that incurs into having a dedicated person. So you're getting all of the benefits of an expert without paying the hefty fee of having an in-house expert for yourself. So it saves the expenses of recruiting, training employees, and you have more capacities available to you without having more people added to your team. And finally, the last benefit that you get is an improved cybersecurity return of investment. So basically, you have in-house versus outsource. In-house, you have more expenses. As an outsourcing company, you have experts that work for you, but you don't have any compromise with them regarding salaries, regarding PTOs, regarding any government taxes or any uh, extra official payments, bonuses, nothing on that end. You have prevention versus remediation. The Sophos focus, it's um, preventing before things happen. So the main focus is just avoid the threat on the first place, avoiding the mess on the first place instead of focusing on remediating after the threat has showed up. So that's the basis of the service. So instead of trying to clean up the mess that a threat is causing, in the first place we try to prevent that it happens in the first place. And also vendor consolidation. MDR has the offers that it integrates not only with the Sophos tools but also with third party. But the most benefit that you can see whenever you are uh, checking on your security or keeping your security up to date is when you have everything under one single umbrella. So we are able to provide you with a push, an extra push, an extra access, an extra reach of the things that are ongoing in order to keep everything tight and secure. So the more things that Sophos is able to handle within its Sophos realm, the better the protection that you are going to get. So let's recap of the benefits of MDR service is that number one, you elevate your cyber defenses. You have a more proactive security posture to prevent anything that is going on. You free up your IT capacity, your IT team is more productive, they don't have to focus that much in security. Number three, you get 24 by 7 peace of mind because MDR service is a around the clock service that it's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Also, you're adding expertise, not headcount, so you're not adding people that depends directly on you, but you're adding people that it's capable and qualified beforehand, so you don't need to go ahead and find people who is qualified for these positions, or if there is someone that it's underqualified, you taking the chances of the investment of that asset and that asset goes away from you as soon as they have certain level that they can hunt for a better job. And also you have an improvement in the return of the investment in cybersecurity. So, what Sophos brings to the table? As of now, we have over 25,000 customers that they are using MDR, and this number is growing by the day. And on those customers, 99.98% of threats are automatically blocked. The remaining 0.02% is taken care by the MDR cybersecurity team. Also, this is what we were talking about earlier. You have incredible response times. Detection is happening in under a minute. The investigations take short. They are very short, take a little time because of the efficiency of the tools that we have available in our MDR services and products. And then the time to respond is very, very, very short because the investigations also are short and very clarifying. So if you take little time to uncover what needs to be done and you have a clear path of what needs to be done, then you will walk that path really quick because you have a very clear path about what's going on. So we meet you where you are. If you need an expert team to completely manage your threat response, or if you need a co-manage or collaborative environment, you can do it. If you only need the alerts of a second pair of eyes to let you know what's going on, then you can do it. In the processes, you need a full-scale incident response in which threats are going to be eliminated, everything is going to be cleaned up, or if you need containment, so the team or your in-house team can go ahead and take care of the remediation, or if you need just a guide, an alert with the remediation, we can meet you there. If you want to use the best protection available, you can go all Sophos. But also, you can have a combination of Sophos and non-Sophos tools, but also you can have the monitoring in non-Sophos tools only. So it's up to you what you want to do. We meet you where you are. So this is an example of the reports that you get, the monthly report letting you know the threats, uh, the kind of threats and everything that happened during the month. And also you have the weekly MDR case reports. So basically the monthly is a summary of the weekly reports for that specific month. But as you can see, they both have different informations that they are meant for different details that you may be working on. So the Sophos ACE, as we like to call it, Adaptive Cybersecurity Ecosystem, you can either manage it yourself or have it self-managed by Sophos as well. So either you manage it yourself or manage it within Sophos directly. And then we have this series of technologies available that they connect via open APIs with third-party integrations. So you can either export information from Sophos or import information from other solutions to the data lake. This information gets sorted out by our threat intelligence process, which is comprised of artificial intelligence, Sophos Labs, and security operations. And then this information is fed back into Central uh, and the MDR team to take feedback of what's going on, make investigations, and keep you protected at all times. So, aside from having integration from all Sophos tools, meaning that within the endpoint, the workload protection for the servers, regardless if they are physical or in the cloud, or Sophos Mobile, or cloud assets such as containers, database instances, compute instances, and so on, firewall, email, zero trust network access, or networking directly. These are all included whenever you get either XDR to manage it yourself or MDR to manage it with Sophos. There are also other solutions that they are included at no cost. So anything that it's endpoint protection, you have it included with your um, XDR or the MDR service. If you're choosing XDR, there is only a sensor available that you can connect. Anything Microsoft or Google Workspace is included for free. So as you can see here, Microsoft Identity, Microsoft 365, Google Workspace in both productivity and email, they are included at no cost. However, there are other technologies that are also available at an additional cost. So if you have a 40 appliance or a Checkpoint appliance or a Cisco and you don't want to switch over to Sophos immediately, or you want to just integrate your infrastructure because you're not planning on migrating anytime soon, then you can integrate it with an additional add-on fee, and then you can have the intelligence and the reporting of these appliances available for analysis and remediation steps on your Sophos Central Console and the MDR team. But that is not limited to a firewall. Also with network appliances or cloud services or identity services or even your backup and recovery. So with Sophos, you have a wider visibility with all of these integrations that we have already, and you can take advantage of all of those integrations to have a better security posture inside of your infrastructure. So this is the numbers for Gartner Peer Insights. MDR services, we were the customer choice for 2023. 2024 is not out yet for the MDR. Um, but in 2024, we are the customer choice in the endpoint solutions, and we are also the choice for firewalls. You may find that we be tied to other solutions. However, the key indicator here is the quantities of the reviews. While we may have a similar score, Sophos has in some cases more than double of the reviews than other companies that are also in the same average rating. So if you have any questions so far, please feel free to go to the Q&A section and type them in, or you can even reach us via email, or you can head over to our social media and ask any questions, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with any of your doubts and concerns. So if there is no further questions, thank you so much for joining us in this event. Hope you can have learned something useful to you, and we'll be in touch soon enough. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.